Hi guys, so as you probably know, on this channel I make a lot of videos talking about learning languages and what worked for me to become fluent in English and giving you guys some tips on that. But today I actually want to talk about some of the advantages of not being able to speak a language fluently. So if you're interested in that, just keep watching and please enjoy the video. Before coming here to Japan, I had actually never lived in a country where I didn't speak the language, at least I would say like 80% fluently or 70% fluently. Like even when I was 17 coming to Ireland for my exchange year for the first time, I was a lot better in English than I am even now in Japanese, I think. So this definitely is the first experience I've made with this type of situation, and I've actually realized that there are some advantages that come with this kind of status of not being able to speak the language completely fluently. The first one is definitely that allowances will be made for you if people realize that you can't speak the language fluently. Not only in terms of your correct grammar or use of vocabulary or what kind of language you speak, like they will be adapting to you in that way, but also they will realize that you are new to the country and are not as well versed with their ways as they probably would assume you were if you spoke fluently. So for example, also culturally, there's a lot of things that are not going to be expected of you if you don't speak the language perfectly. So I can only speak about Japan, but obviously here there's a lot of rules that need to be followed in terms of society, what society expects you to do or be, or like just generally cultural things like taking off your shoes when you come into a room, or there's ways to do this and ways to do that, and all of that is a lot to especially if you move to a different country, a lot to take in and like remember at first. But the thing is, obviously people will be able to tell when you speak and don't speak the language perfectly, that you've only been there for a short time, and then they just won't expect the same level of conformity of you as they would of somebody who speaks fluently and seems very well integrated and adapted to the culture as well. Because you can't speak the language completely, there's way less expectations and assumptions associated with what you're saying. Now, let me just explain it a little bit because it sounds very confusing even to me, but what I mean by that is that, for example, if you speak in a language you're very well versed in, people will maybe try to read between the lines of what you're saying, or you're going to be conveying a lot more abstract concepts as well instead of just like very tangible things. Also, you would be expected to hit certain nuances or to convey your own emotions in a way that's not too direct, maybe not too controversial, not too confrontational. So there's a lot of things that can be done with how you speak and like the way of speaking, and that can be very difficult in any language really. But the thing is, if you're speaking and people can hear that you're making mistakes in normal sentences too, and that you're not completely there yet, they also won't expect that of you. So if you're already kind of bad at that thing, or if you tend to worry a lot about how you come across to people, that sort of just falls away in a different language. At least to me it does. I think it could be also more stressful because you're worried about those nuances that you can't convey yet, but you have to remember that people also don't expect you to do that. And that brings me to my next point, which is, for me at least, I have a lot less social anxiety when I speak in Japanese, because I tend to in retrospective social anxiety is what I mean by that, because I tend to if I talk to people, I tend to then afterwards dissect what I said and take it apart really and remember it very closely and be like, okay, I said this, maybe I could have come across this way, and then they said that and that. But if it's a language that you're not perfect at, you won't actually remember exactly what you said, because at the time you're not focusing on those things, you're focusing on how you're speaking. And that was just the retrospective aspect of it, but obviously also while you're speaking, you're gonna be so focused on how you say things and the grammatical structure and things like that, and syntax and semantics and stuff like that, but you won't be focusing so much on the others, the social factors. And sometimes that can be a good thing. At least for me, I think I overanalyze those situations a lot and I overthink it a lot. So for me, the fact that my focus is completely somewhere else is very helpful in not beating myself up over coming across weird or this or that or something, you know? So I think it definitely depends on the person. It can have negative effects, but for me it has positive ones because I just have to focus more on other things and I can't like really annoy myself with how OCD or persistent I am with like trying to analyze the situation on like a more metaphysical level, if that makes sense. One of my favorite things though about not being able to speak a language fluently is that there's still room to learn and to grow, and that is just an amazing feeling. To be in a different country and to have this sense of learning new things every day and improving yourself basically every single day is absolutely amazing. It can also come with the realization that you'll always have something new to learn, which could be a bit frustrating, but when you think about it, I think I'm pretty much native speaker level in English, but I still occasionally come across new words that I don't know, and I'm actually really happy when I do. And that sort of thinking you have to also put over your second language or a language you don't completely like speak perfectly and be like, that is a good thing. It's a good thing that there's still things for you to learn, and then you can take them in and incorporate them in what you're saying and what you're actually using. So not just like passively understanding it, but also actively trying to use it and to do something with it. And then the feeling of that accomplishment when you use it correctly, or even if you don't use it correctly, when you use it and somebody corrects you, and then from now on you realize how to actually use it, like that feeling is so amazing, and it just makes you feel so good about yourself. And even for me, like even if for a day I like don't actually sit down and study anything specifically, but if I have like a lot of conversations in Japanese with Japanese people, that by itself makes me feel productive and makes me feel like I'm doing something for improving myself and my language skills. And that's just an amazing feeling that you can't get from a language that you speak fluently, or at least you can't get it as much and as strongly. Also, it's just such a nice feeling to have like a goal and to be able to kind of track your process of getting there, and like setting a goal higher and higher as you like reach it, and then like you get a new goal and you're never done. I think a lot of people say that about life in general. You never stop learning, and especially once you're like in a sweet spot with a language, where I think I am there right now, where my Japanese is not bad, it's okay, and I am able to learn so much every single day, and I realize how much this is to learn. But I'm there where I'm like, I can say a lot of things, well maybe not vocabulary wise, but grammar wise I am good to go. Basically I have all the basic grammar, and now for example in class I'm just learning like stylistic things like kakikotoba or like, you know, the words that you would use when writing that just sound better or like more educated, that, you know, they have the same meaning but they're just fancier words basically for the same thing. So in that regard I'm there already now, which makes me so happy, because I'm like, it's not just new knowledge that I just fit into the slot of like, you know, this is what it means in German or in English, and I just fit the Japanese one on top. But now I'm there where I'm like, I have the Japanese basis and I just put more Japanese on top, if you know what I mean. I'm not sure if I'm explaining this correctly, but that feeling of realizing that you have the base and then you just like building on that, it's just so great and so wonderful. And I'm, you know, of course the ultimate goal is to be able to speak the language fluently, but just the process of getting there is also so important and can be so fulfilling and so wonderful. So basically that's kind of the point of this video. I just want you guys to, yes, want to learn a language and to become fluent in it and be able to fully appreciate and use it, but also to be just happy with the process and with the learning curve that you're going to be experiencing, and with the getting there part. Like really the journey is the goal. That's what people say, I think. So yeah, definitely enjoy that part, and don't rush through it. Don't feel like you have to like do so much every single day that you're like cramming your head with stuff, and you only like sort of understand it passively but you can't really use it. But also like just take your time and build a base and just enjoy getting there, and just appreciate this wonderful thing that your brain can do in learning a second language or a third language or a fourth language or whatever you're at. It is just an amazing thing that humans can do, and just enjoy it. So that's the note I want to end this video at. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you took something away from it, and I wish you all good luck in your language studies. And keep going, you're gonna get there eventually. And just don't forget that the process of getting there can also be a wonderful, wonderful thing. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm gonna see you soon. Have a lovely week. Bye! I don't know why I was so okay with that while I was reading the first book. Like, this entire premise of this book is so ridiculous. I don't understand. Like, that's definitely a good reason to just like depart to that kingdom and be like, let's just look for it, because maybe we'll find it like lying in the street randomly. I was just like, let me